until that one little click. So hopefully this round is good. All right, so we're here, third episode of the podcast's name. I finally came up with a name called the HOU Experience. I don't know where I got the name HOU from. I mean, it's short for Houston, but I like the word HOU, and I was like, just put experience, and that's it. And so this is the third episode. Always wanted to talk to you, and this is the first time I met you, and we're going to get to learn a little bit more about you and pretty much just go from there. So
well, thank you for having me.
Okay, yeah, thank you for coming. I was kind of hoping you did. So do you go by Nicholas or just Nick? Nicholas, full Nicholas? Yeah, because I have a brother named Nicholas, but he wants to go by Nick. So,
well, when I go out or like, people normally call me Nicholas, but my close friends and family normally call me Nick.
Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize if I...
No, it's okay.
It's okay? Okay, So letting you know where it came from, because I'm a little brother.
am super like open-minded. Like, I don't take anything offensively at all.
Okay, that's good, because I'm definitely going to screw up. All right, so where do we start? So one of the reasons why I wanted you to come to the podcast, because I wanted to share basically who you are, share you to the world, because the world needs to see more people like you, pretty much who are not afraid to be themselves, as well as not afraid to experiment. And unfortunately, from what I've seen from my experience, Houston has a lot of potential fashion designers, and they don't get the necessary exposure they deserve. In your case, you're one of them. I feel like you should have millions of followers on your Instagram as well as your Facebook. So my job, or what I'm trying to do, is help people like y'all to get that exposure. I'm not necessarily trying to be famous. I'm doing something what I like, talking to interesting people, like yourself, and just going from there. So hopefully we can do a good job today and stuff. So let's explain yourself.
Okay.
Where did it all start?
Fashion started with me in 2014.
Okay.
So that was the last year of college. And I think it's like right before my final. I was like, went through like a horrible breakup with my ex.
Okay.
And it put me in like a very dark place of my life. And one of my friends, he applied for me to Austin Fashion Weeks. And I have no sketches, no design, nothing. He just doing it. And then I borrowed my friend's money for the application fees, and I just pay for it. And in 10 days, and so I got the answer in 10 days, right before the show, that they accept my application for some reason, which later on, the owner of the show was telling me, it's like, I was so worried, but I took a leap of faith on you because you submit your application without sketch, without anything. Like, I was so worried. Oh, wow. And then, but it was a funny thing to remember.
Yeah.
So I went back 10 days before the show. I went by the new sewing machine, a serger, and I never went to school for sewing before, so I have no idea how to do it. But then I remember this moment very clearly because everything happened so fast. And it's like, it somehow is like make a mark in my head. That evening, when I got the application, I couldn't sleep. I woke up at probably 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And somehow I sketched 12 pieces right there, right in. And the next day I woke up, go get the fabric, go get the paint, and just do it. And somehow in 10 days, I make 12 dresses to make it to the show. Wow. And the last day driving in, I basically have to hand stitch like the last dress on the car. And it was like, it was crazy, but it was the best time of my life.
Wow.
But that's happened, and unexpectedly, and then when I see people react to what I can do on my own,
yeah,
I feel like I can be able to do so much more if I have help of like professionals,
yeah,
and people who know what they're doing, because I clearly have that design, like what I want to do, creativity in my mind. And the best part was my grandma was there at the show,
Oh, really?
And then seeing things like that kind of like opened her mind up about the idea of me going into like the art and something that creativity.
Yeah.
Because as Asian, they only want the kids to grow up being like a doctor or like, you know, a lawyer and all that bullshit.
That
And
is
then,
so
you know,
true.
so yeah, so that's exactly what it is. And she finally, I guess, seeing me being happy on that stage is kind of like changing what she think about everything. So she
Yeah.
told me like, listen, let's go back to Vietnam, and I'm gonna help you set up your own studio, and then everything is yours. You know, like, so just do whatever you need to do.
Why Vietnam?
Because I'm from Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
So my whole family is still in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
I moved here when I was 15 as international student.
Oh, so wow, okay. I thought you lived here like your whole life.
No.
Wow, okay.
So I've been here for 15 years and on my own. So a part of it is like when I was younger, like the first couple years was hard because I don't
Yeah.
have that family support or like anybody I know. But I grew out of it, and it's, you know, it's become like a life lesson that I learned on my own, which
Yeah.
is, you know.
Okay. Oh, man. I didn't know this part. This is so cool. You know, moments like that, you know, when you hear from someone else, it just makes you feel good. Because, I mean, a lot of people, they have somewhat similar experience, you know, and they're thinking, oh, they're making the wrong decision, but deep and down they feel good about it. And, you know, hearing stories like this, it should be out way more. And, you know, thank you for sharing that, you know. So, man, because of the finals. Well, I mean, finals, you know, put pressure on a lot of people. And I hated it.
And luckily, I mean, I went through all that. Like, I passed everything, and I got a degree in international business, the BBA.
Yeah.
And for a very long time, I think doing that is like for my family, not for me, you know, because that's what they always wanted. And then now the older I get, I appreciate more of what I've done for myself, you know, like even that degree that more meaningful to me.
Yeah. Have you used it since?
No.
No, not even.
And I think well, technically I feel like I'm doing that for my own company.
Yeah.
And this is like a fun and weird fact about me is that I never worked before. Like I never went to work for anybody else before.
Oh man, lucky you.
So some people think it's lucky, but some people, for me, I don't think so, because now if fashion falls apart, that degree doesn't get me a job anywhere because people are looking for experience. And it's kind of hard, you know, and like sometimes I try to get back to like, okay, I'm struggling here and there. Let's just have a stable job and working on this as like a side job.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find a job anywhere because my mindset is so different. Like it's hard for me to work for somebody else because I know what I want to do. And when somebody tell me to follow the rules or so whatsoever, I'm like, oh God, get over it. You know, like, I hate it.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Trust me, it sucks. Well, man, that's so cool. And so that's real cool. So during the transition from once getting your degree to, you know, completely being all into fashion, when did you started completely changing? Like when did you start during the time when you decided to switch over, were you who you are today, or was it a process?
It was definitely a growing process for me. And that's one thing that I try to explain to a lot of people is that we change, we grow every day.
Yeah.
Depends on how open-minded you are, because growing up in Vietnam, like I know the mindset is very like, you know, the people is not as open-minded.
Yeah.
And the thing is that when I was in Vietnam, US is like a number one country in the world, like the freedom, people have freedom doing whatever they want. And it's for us, it's like you have to be really lucky to be able to come here. Because when I go in interview for my visa as international student in Vietnam, it's like 1,000 kids. And I was like one of those 10 kids that got the visa to come here. So at that moment for me, it was a big deal, you know, like it was huge. And not going to US and study, that's kind of like a no-no. Like you already make it, you have to push it. I was scared, and the first 10 years of my life here was definitely a life changing because I learned about who I am. I learned about my, being gay and all of that. And I hate myself for it because that's something that I don't want to do, because at the end of the day, it's what I always want to do for my family, of what they expect me to be or how they want me to become. And I have to deal with that moment of my life, like accepting who I am and learning how to dealing with my gay and, like my coming out situation and how to accept and love myself. And I'm lucky enough to have like a huge group of friends. Like they always been there, like supporting me, like helping me with a lot of, like downer time of my life. And I finally more open about who I am and trying to more accepting. I went through several relationship, and that relationship was probably like the mark of very first relationship that meaningful to me, that somebody that I love and care about so much. And going through that breakup is another like a dark time of my life. Like it's changing who I am completely. Like I remember I was like so painful. Like the breakup is like basically tearing me apart. I don't have any force or like anything that I want to do and living for. Like I basically losing everything for me.
Yeah.
And it was so painful that it still kind of like triggered my emotion still now. And which is why the fashion show came at the perfect time. I put all of my dark energy into that.
Yeah.
And the collection, I call it Bang Bang, because the song is like, he shot me down, bang bang, I hit the ground, bang bang. So that was the feeling of what going through that first collection.
Yeah.
So the collection is like all black dress, mostly all dark, and then I splatter like gold paint on it. It's like dripping gold. So the idea is that I'm not bleeding blood, I'm bleeding liquid gold, because I value myself so much more than, like just a simple human being, So that was the idea of the first collection.
Beautiful, man.
So as you can see, like the collection changed, and that's how I evolved with it. The first one was really dark because I went through a dark time. And the second one, I named it Another Love, because I finally realized that I found a new love of my life, the love for fashions. So that is when I started my studio in Vietnam. Everything is professionally done and made. And I never changed the first collection because it's something meaningful to me. I do get it remake, but I keep all the pieces that I make myself because it's more like sentimental, like the unperfect hems, like the rip, the tear, like everything of it is I put what I have at that moment into it. So I really appreciate it,
Yeah.
And the second one is Another Love, is more professional, more like that's when people start realize that who I am. Mm-hmm. People are trying to like get into know me more and know about my fashion, and that's where it all started.
Yeah.
And then it gets better. Like I feel every moment of my life, I get now, the more into it, the more I'm comfortable with being who I am and being confident because I achieved something for myself that people appreciate it, that touch people in certain way. And of course, seeing things, something like that is change you because you're going to appreciate you more, which I did, like I appreciate all of what I achieve and I'm happier, become a happier person because of that.
Yeah.
And the funny part is the last show that I did, the owner of the show, even his dad came over and like, you seem very different. You seem more free, more comfortable, more confident about who you are because they grow with me. They was the first one who picked me in, choose me, and every year I'm doing new collection with them. So they hands-on seeing what I've grow, what I've seen, and for hearing something like that, it make me like very happy about who I become,
I mean, it's making me happy, hearing your story, man. It's great because you brought up a good point, especially in the Asian culture, being a boy. I'm dating my girlfriend's Asian, and She tells me this quite sometimes that guys and the boys in the Asian community is it's more, how do you say it, more sought after, or like the man of the house or something like that. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And you being the boy, but also becoming gay. Is it okay for me to ask this question?
Yeah. Of
Okay.
course.
How difficult? Like, was it hard, or it's probably even harder than most? Probably American, but coming from Vietnam, third world country and stuff. Was it difficult coming out to your parents? And was it hard on them at first, or they just had that open mentality?
Well, honest truth is, I think the only person I actually tell them that I'm gay is my mom.
Okay.
And her reaction was terrifying. It was not something that, well, I already expected, because growing up, I know my family personality. I know each one so well that I already kind of deep down already know. Yeah. And my grandma for sure know about it. Mm-hmm. It's more like a don't ask, don't tell. My dad and my grandpa is still very like, except my grandpa is like very old school.
Yeah.
He's probably not going to understand it, which I'm not trying to establish that with him. But with my dad, I feel like someday I really hope that he could understand. Yeah. Because I really, deep down, really know that he already knows. He just don't want accepting it. Yeah. And it was really hard for me because growing up, that's the one thing about kids. Like, I cannot talk for everybody, but for myself, I always put other people in front of me, people that I care about, my family, my friends, and I always think of their feelings before I think of mine, because I don't want to do something that hurt them. And the idea of being something that my family would not expect it hurt me more, because I feel like I'm not being a good kid. So I feel like I'm not following their path, or make them disappointed of who I am. Like, that's why I'm trying so much harder to achieve something that I can, like a college degree, or like something that I can be able to achieve for them to be happy. So that way I can feel easier about me being who I am, Yeah. Like, at least I'm doing something as a gift for them. Like, okay, you work hard, you done hard and get me here. Yeah. So this is my thank you. Yeah. But other than that, I really want to be myself, Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was like, man. I was thinking to myself the other day. I was like, man, it must have been tough, like coming out, because I have a glimpse of an idea, because what my girlfriend told me about, because her parents are from are from Vietnam, and they came over during the I think it was like the 80s and stuff, and came from absolutely nothing, and they have everything now. And she was telling me about her grandpa, and it's old people thinking one direction, and stuff, because he only has girls. And the grandpa was like, he's always been, I don't want to say disappointed, but he always wanted the boy. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that was one thing. I was like, man, it must be really hard, especially in the Asian community and stuff. So, okay, so during the breakup, it's tough, especially when you love something and love someone, and you put everything in that relationship, and once it's gone, it's like you feel completely empty. So get into fashion. That was the way for you to, I guess, remove all that emotions. Yeah. So.
Well, I wouldn't say like remove, because it's still there. The feelings, the pain, the love, and respect, and I still feeling that. It's just fashion is like become like a cloak. Okay. It's helped me forget about all of that pain. It's kind of helped me to be another person at who I want to be. Yeah. So that's why clothing and dressing up and things like that, it is a drag in a way. Like, you woke up, you're dressing nice, it make you feel better about who you are, and you push yourself doing things. That's what fashion is about. And sometimes people misleading about the fashion industry is because people think it's a luxury things, it's like a statement of who you are, of what you are. It is true, but for me, it's not just simply because showing like how rich you are, but it's the confidence level that you have. Because people save up money to, let's say people save up a lot of money to buy one items of Louis Vuitton or Dior that they've been want to have that whole life. When they have it in their hands, it's a big achievement for them. And carrying them around make them feel good and confident about who they are because that's something they achieve, you know? And that's what fashion is about for me. It's not about dressing up nice and just being like being mean or being
Mainstream.
exactly about it, but it's more about for yourself, and that's how I see it.
Okay.
I dress up for myself because it makes me feel confident.
Yeah.
You know, it's like an armor, you know, like
Yeah.
I look good, I feel great, you know, that's why I push myself to do something better, bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you get there? Like, how did you start? You see what I'm saying? Because I wanted to wear one of my favorite shirts, and it's kind of like a very colorful Easter egg looking pattern.
Yeah.
It's not an Easter egg shirt, but it's Easter colors. But I was like, I don't know if I should wear this today. So
Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of people come to me, and I'm not saying this to you, but I'm saying like most of the people that I'm talking
I
with,
ain't ashamed.
and it is like there's certain confidence level about who they are, about their bodies, about all that stuff, and they question themselves that do I want to fit in or do I want to stand out? And in my head, it's always standing out. Like I don't want to look like, you know, I don't want to just look normal. I just want to be myself and do whatever make me happy.
Yeah.
And looking back at my picture, it's terrifying because people involved like change. The first time I was dressing up, going out was only gay bars because that's the only place I feel welcome being who I am. And that's just like the first time I touching makeup or like heels or anything like that. Of course, I don't have experience. I don't know my body. I don't know how I look. When I put it on at that moment, I feel great.
Yeah.
And I keep doing it. And then over the years, you will learn like, oh, maybe I should do it this way to make it look better. You know, so my makeup changing and I look, you know, different now than 10 years ago. Same thing with clothing, you know, whatever I was uncomfortable with. I started slow. Wearing things that you a little bit out of your comfort, and it will start growing on you of how much you're willing to accept the change or how you would look. Because the more you're into it, the more the idea of the vision you have about yourself is different, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many compliments you get a day?
Well, I don't dress up like this every day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So most of the time I go to event or like interview or anything that to do with my brand, my branding, then I would dress up.
Okay.
But I'm pretty lazy. Normally daytime, I'm just throwing on something and just whatever, you know?
That makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah, so I don't wake up and put on my face and just walking around, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. You know, that's cool. Yeah. For some reason, I always have that thought process of I should look good in the comfort of my own house. Where my girlfriend, she likes to dress homeless, pretty much, you know, because she's like, I'm home, I don't care, you know, which is good. So, all right, so we started where it all began. So let's talk about how do we get from point A to point B, you know, the process. You mentioned that almost every year or every other year you create a whole
Every
new line.
year, yeah.
So give us an idea, how do you create this creative process?
Well, the best way to explain it is my collection is based on my emotion of the time.
Okay.
So that's the thing, like growing up, I might not get into fashion and stuff. I always sketch. I love drawing, and I just keep like same thing in college, I draw like all the crazy stuff in college. I never throw them away because somehow I believe that the best inspiration that you have is your own.
Yeah.
Because all the experience that you have, everything happened in your life, should not be something that you look past because it's shaped and creating who you are today. And those inspiration gonna go with you to the rest of your life. So sometime when I got stuck, I just go back and look in my own, you know, drawing, sketching. It doesn't have to be looking best, you know, but it's just because you drawing that. So in the back of your head, you always still remember of what you did, of that, like what it is. And sometimes you look at it and it's like, oh, this actually look better like this.
Yeah.
So I am always like trying to reach in to what I already have and like trying to create something new, that modern, that fit the image of what's going on right now. So I don't sketch as much as I used to anymore. I have the idea in my head, and then once a year go back to Vietnam and I normally stay 3 to 4 months and to create my whole new collection. So that is when everything happened. Is that I have an idea of how I want this collection to look like. I go there, buy the fabric, buy everything hands-on, then I will sketch of what I have. So I like to work with what I have, like in hands.
Yeah.
Some people, they imagine it first and then they force the element to make it work. I like to work with what I have, like throw something at me and I will create something out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what part of Vietnam?
In Ho Chi Minh City.
Ho Chi Minh?
Saigon.
Okay. Yeah. Is there an area in Vietnam where you like to go and just relax and think of put yourself in a creative process?
No, that's not Vietnam.
That's not Vietnam at all?
It's hard to say this, but I was born in Vietnam, raised there. It's my hometown, my country,
Okay.
and my family. I appreciate it in a different way than they are. I don't think of it as my home. I enjoying the food. I enjoy the timing there, the traveling I have. I don't enjoy the culture. I don't enjoy a lot of part of it because I understand it and I try to get out of it because I want to be open-minded about everything in life. And that is, for me, is a religious, like politics, all of that, like dividing people.
Yeah.
That's why there's always like differences of how you're thinking because you grow up, your family taught you one things, that's all you know. Same thing with the racism in America, like you grow up, that's what you know from your grandparents, from your parents. And that's what I want to break out of. I don't want to follow the footstep. I want to become a better person, like a world peace person, because I'm willing to sit down and learn about the new culture, about how they are, what they are, for myself. I'm not trying to change the person or any whoever.
Yeah.
The changing should make within yourself. And that's what I'm still in process of doing.
Okay.
And Vietnam for me is that same thing, like a place I came back to visit my grandparents, my family, because they're still there.
Yeah.
And that was about it. But I tend to get depressions every time I go back, like, because I know the language, I know here and there, but I'm still very like scared and skeptical about going on the street by myself, doing things on my own. Like I'm just not used to it. And it's something that you have to grow up into. Like you have to like it or you don't.
Yeah.
And I don't. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how to ride a bike. I don't know how to get around. Like the only way I'm doing around in Vietnam is Uber. And
they have that over there?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and they have Uber in Vietnam, and Uber or like Lyft or whatever. Like they have different over there.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I want to fit in with my new friends there, but I don't know how to ride a bike. I'm not sure if I want to learn how to ride a bike,
Yeah.
a motorbike. So it's different, like people.
Yeah.
And then I'd hate the part, like judging part, like people looking at you, like talking about you. Like it's just a normal things that I don't like, I don't like going on the street and walking down the street and already in the back of my head or like hearing of people, seeing people talking or like hearing that, you know what I mean?
What do you mean? Like, are you dressing similar or?
No, it's just, how do I say it?
Or is it just the culture over there?
It's
like,
just,
like where like
it's a
people,
part of the culture.
People are just nosy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I never look fit in. Doesn't matter how simple outfit I'm wearing. Like I can wear like a tank top and just like anything. Walk down the street, people still think I'm not from Vietnam.
Well, then maybe you think you're a superstar, and they want to take a photo of you.
No, it's funny. Like I don't know if you watch Crazy Rich Asians. How she explained like she is Chinese, but American Chinese, not the real Chinese. Same thing with Vietnam.
I see what you're saying.
They don't look at you or treating you like a Vietnamese anymore. Like they don't see it that way. They think you like American Vietnamese, and it's just weird. And I don't I don't know how they can tell, but doesn't matter what I dress or what I do. How they think of that. Like the more I try to fit in, the more I seem like.
I see what you're saying now.
It's very strange.
Yeah, it's like the culture around here has this aura or something like that, or your image is completely different versus over there. I see exactly what you're saying, because I kind of feel the same way when I go to Mexico. I do not fit in at all, and I don't speak Spanish. I'm only half Mexican, half white, and I don't speak any Spanish whatsoever. And people tell me, it's like, well, how do you fit in Mexico? But like, I don't. And it's like I just tell them I'm from Texas. I see what you're saying and stuff. But
yes, it's strange. But then I grew up here in U.S. and I thought this is home, and then now the more I'm growing into it, I'm like, oh my God, this country have the same problems. It's just different scale, like. Well,
I don't. It's a current problem, but I think people just tend to forget that it's not, especially with what's going on right now. People hate each other based on political views and stuff. It's just a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah.
And people forget that it's not okay to bash someone based on whatever their beliefs are. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, was because I'm not going to talk about politics whatsoever, because I'm not. There's enough negativity in this world, and I just don't want to be part of that. I just want to uplift people. And with what's going on, it's just people getting hit with it. It's everywhere. It's on your social media account, even though the social media account is not meant for it somehow, some way. It's made like that. And I mean, think about it. People do it on TikTok.
Yeah,
that's weird. It's like 4 seconds of your life, and people want to. I was like, man, people grow up.
Well, I think the easiest way without talking about politics is similar. The way I'm saying it is that it's just a different scale of problems. It's the same situation, same misunderstanding, same everything, just different scale.
Yeah.
And same thing with people who are sitting at home on a computer with fake account, making comments about being mean and all that bullshit. It's just, I don't care about those people, because they hiding in their own home, saying things that they maybe don't even mean. They just make us try to be a statement of some sort.
Yeah.
Or just get their anger out because maybe they misunderstanding or mistreated in some part of process, so they forgot how to connect.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's like I surrounded myself with people who open-minded, because the whole process of growing up is how to learn, learning process every day.
Yeah.
To learn about new people, new culture, new food, new thing. I never say no to anything.
Yeah.
Because that's who I am, I want to become that person.
Yeah. So what type of food you like? What's your favorite food?
Oh, God.
Is it Mexican food?
I love all the food. You should, yeah. I love food. I travel and I eat. I eat street food. I eat everything.
How's the street food in Vietnam?
Amazing.
Is it? I've always wanted, go ahead.
Yeah, that's one thing of Vietnam is the best is the food.
Yeah.
I swear to you, I travel and not nowhere have the food like that.
Okay.
And we are so good at it in the way that we bring in Chinese food, and different culture food and make it better, because the way you evaluating that is not from me, but from their own people. Let's say Chinese come over and then oh my God, this is actually better than what the original is.
Is it?
That makes you feel better, about your country, something you're proud of.
Yeah.
And I recently in Mexico, in PV, and I was there in Christmas, and I just recently came back last month. And in Christmas, I met some of my friends in America, and they took me, we was walking around in PV, the street was terrified, but I was in heels.
What's PV?
Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta, okay.
Yeah, Mexico. And after the club, they took me to the food truck outside of just on the street. And that's probably the best taco I had in my life. And I'm not saying it oh my God, it's really good.
Yeah.
And then this trip around, I came back. That's my goal. It's I don't give a damn what we doing.
Yeah.
We have to get street food. Like,
Yeah.
I came back there, and I mean, dressing like this, obviously people remember me. So, like, they try to make conversation. Like, it's really fun and nice, you know, like, and it's not as crowded as Christmas. So I'm like sit there and talk to them. And they was like, I remember you and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I come back just for this, you know. I want you to know that. Like, you should be proud, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love food. And when I travel, I eat street food because street food make you understand the culture a lot more. And the easiest way to say it is that the street food is standing for the poverty. When the country, especially third world country, when they have nothing to eat, they will evaluate, like, let's make it simple, like a chicken. When you kill something, you eat every single part of it, you know? And Americans don't understand that then. Now they're kind of open-minded about everything. So become, you know, eating that, like chicken gizzard, chicken heart, chicken, like every part of it.
We can stop at the chicken feet.
And chicken feet, you know, like it's like people eating that because they have to eat that to survive.
Yeah.
That was used to be. But over the years, they developing, make the food better, you know, like make it more high end, making it more like tasteful. Like, and that's how the culture works. Like people have the certain food because of what they have to survive on. And because of that, people make those better to be able to be consuming, you know what I mean? Like when you eat something so much, you know how to make it better.
Yeah.
And here in America, they used to eating things that look like square shape or like a burger shape. Like anything that doesn't look shaped, they would be scared of. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying it's like a bad thing, but it's just funny to see. It's like when I took my American friend to Vietnam, I know they're really trying to push that boundary and try everything with me because they don't want to be like, you know, I'm so American. But I can see their pain, like in their eyes, like trying to force them to eat certain things. You know, it's just funny. Yeah. But it's not that bad. You know, like they see like the whole fish cooked, they freaking out because here they only eat the fillet of fish. Like they don't see the whole fish cooked like that. They wouldn't know how to eat it.
Oh, a whole fish? Come on.
Yeah, like they don't know how to. They wouldn't.
I guess that's extreme Americana, right there.
Yeah, they don't know how to eat it. You know, it's just funny.
I mean, I was thinking about something like. Here's something extreme for me, because my girlfriend's always trying to make me or force me to eat stuff. Balut, you know, the bird in the egg. I get it, you know, but come on, I just can't do it. As well as let's see what.
Well, I do eat that, but I don't eat the duck.
Oh, you don't?
No. So every part of it is good. America, balut is not as good as the one in Vietnam or in Asia because it's fresh.
Yeah.
So they have like a soup base, a liquid in there. The soup, every part is amazing.
Yeah.
Except the bird part, I cannot get over it. So I always get that bird part to my mom. I'll give it to my grandpa. Like, hey, can you eat this part? I'll just eat the rest. You know.
Yeah. That one and what was another one? Blood cake. It's like it's like with the onions and the lemon, and it's like in a plastic canister. You can buy it. It's like a little cake. I don't know what it's called. It's like I got it from a home welcoming, you know, and it's just.
So maybe I don't think that's Vietnamese though.
That's not Vietnamese.
No, I don't think so.
Bad.
Blood cake is different one.
I mean, with the family.
But we do eat like the blood, pig blood, pork blood.
I don't know.
I don't know what stuff. Like it's normally like a chunky, that kind of black.
Yeah, is that like in some kind of pho?
Not pho, but like from the other noodle types. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They normally add.
Yeah, it's something like that. I would kind of step back a little bit. I'm probably a little nip of it, but I wouldn't feel good about it. So let me ask you this question, and since you're so familiar with the street food in Vietnam, what one restaurant in Houston tastes almost as similar to home?
Oh my God!
I would like to know because I'm gonna go there. It has probably the best pho.
Well, pho.
Yeah.
The best way to get pho in Houston is Pho Saigon in My Lam location downtown.
Okay.
That is, well, that's the thing about pho. It's like, if we talk about food, there's going to be a long conversation, but we're going to make it quick. I like my pho. It's like very clean. The soup base is clean. It's not as thick. It's because the pho started from the north of Vietnam.
Okay.
So originally it's made by chicken. So I like the clean of the soup because the soup make you feel good, like almost like a chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
Like that's how it should be.
Best chicken noodle soup ever.
But then when they bring it to the south of Vietnam, the soup base getting more fatty. People like the fattiness. People like the thickness of the soup. That's what I don't like about. Like it's so heavy. When I eat it, it make me like after you eat it, you don't feel good about yourself. You just feel like, you cannot digest that because it's so heavy. So Pho Pha Saigon is definitely my favorite spot to get pho.
Okay.
Yeah, for like really good.
I'll definitely take time and visit there. And so, okay, that's good.
And then with Vietnamese food, I don't know. Like, there's no place here that tastes anywhere near that what I want to eat.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, I try it out. Like I get it, but it's very Americanized. It's nothing really authentic about it. It's really hard to find something like that.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so yeah, you're making me hungry now because I haven't eaten yet today.
Oh my god, I haven't eaten either.
Yeah, so I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not. I usually eat by this time, but I'm trying to cut down on the weight a little bit. My doctor told me I need to cut the weight, so I'm part of the thick boy nation right now. And stuff. So what's next? As in, like, what's your next lineup? Can you kind of give us a little glimpse of it?
Well, 2020 kind of like paused everything for me.
Yeah.
Like first thing first, business side, I have to lay off some people because I cannot afford to have the studio in Vietnam and here, like without making any money. And I cannot even traveling back to Vietnam because the country is like locked down, like nobody in and out anymore. So
they're still locked down.
Which is why I cannot create new collections.
Yeah.
Because I have to be there hands-on with something new because I very specific about certain things. So I'm kind of put everything on hold with the fashion. I'm still doing promoting to photograph, like anything creative, I'm still doing it. The things like I probably told you earlier is like some people think about the COVID quarantine is a very bad things that happen to all of us, people losing job, people losing, everything. But when you start looking of it as like a positive side of it, that people quit their job that they hate, because they have to force doing that job for make a living. That's American culture. Like you go to work, you make money. That's your whole life. And when you got a chance to travel, you take it, and that is something that I could not understand, I want to live my life to the fullest, to having fun, having joys and everything, not just go to a same job doing the same thing every day. Like, I get some people like very logistic, they liking that. They don't like to be out of orders. I get it. But I am like completely the opposite. So some people who lose their job finally have some time at home doing something for themselves, something that they're passionate about, something they've never done. And I think that's a great thing because after this whole quarantine thing, people are going to be thinking about for themselves of what make them happy more than just going back to their old, daily job.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good part coming out from it. And for me, I always want to do anything with art, from music, fashion, painting, drawing, that my family never let me do it. I get in touch with my music side. I'm not saying like I'm the best singer or whatsoever, but I work with some people and they write songs for me, and I love writing lyrics just for fun, and I make sure that they understand the story and then they recreate it, make it happen. So now I'm like working on my EP, like a music EP. It's gonna come out at least 6 to 7 songs totals, and the EP, the album name is Vanity. So when you hear Vanity, you think about like somebody that like just love themselves, like very vain, very like that, and that's exactly what I'm saying in the album too. Is that there's nothing wrong with loving yourself more. People hating on that is because they couldn't find that part of themselves yet to learn how to love themselves.
Yeah.
So Vanity is about individual, about doing what you love most for yourself, doing everything, like living your life fullest for nobody else but you. So Vanity is about you need to learn how to love yourself, basically. So yeah, I have like a 6-7 track just singing about my life, about who I am.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah,
And
just for fun.
You're a superstar, you know. You know, you're that fresh air everyone needs to hear, because you know you're all about positivity. You know, all about loving yourself, and you know, especially you're brave. You know, I'm gonna put it out like that, because a lot of people, man, a lot of people get confused with being brave. You know, being some people have this idea like, oh, being brave, like, oh, you have to be in fucking war or something. You know, being brave can be something as simple as walking out the front door and being you completely. That's being brave, and you definitely mastered that. And you know, people need to see it, man, and stuff. It's beautiful, and I enjoy it because it makes me feel happy. And you know, so that's good, man. That's good. I'm excited for it. You know. See.
Thank you. Yeah, and you're right about the whole braveness. You know, like, I'm not downsizing of whatever bravery that people have been doing for us. You know, the war and everything, and the big community. Like, that's the community part. Everybody have a part of it to make it a better place. And you cannot do anything on your own. Like, think about business or anything. You need a group of people that be good at certain what they do good at to help you grow, and we help each other grow.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do, you know. And you're right about being brave is that, you know, like, you don't have to do something huge, but just being brave for yourself is simply being you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, so I was able to understand that during one of the hardest time of my life. You know, just like kind of something similar with you. Of about 6 years or 7 years. I completely. How long was 2012? 8 years. 8 years. During in 2012 was the beginning from pretty much a rough time. Recently broke up. You know, was deep in love with someone. Cared a huge amount, but I forgot who I was because I was so focused on that individual. You know, not necessarily was her fault, but it's just I was just so focused on her. I mean, first love, young love, and you know, it happens with everybody. But during that phase, it took me about to fully get over it. It took me about, I would say, about 5 years to fully get over it. And what I did was, I don't recommend it for anyone, but what I did was I dealt through the pain. Like, I didn't jump in another relationship. I didn't jump into another relationship. What I did was that I tried to remove myself from these feelings, and what worked for me was going through that roller coaster of understanding who I was and trying to figure out what I needed to do and who I am. And, you know, and luckily it was a bumpy ride. It was a bumpy ride, but I got over it. And when I met my new girlfriend, zero remorse whatsoever. She doesn't have to deal with the, how would I say, the after effects of it, because I didn't bring nothing to the table from that. It was just a clean slate. But I learned that who I was. I learned that what I needed to get done and stuff, and becoming this individual that she fell in love with. You know, it was through that process. Yeah. And with you, you know, the breakup was the beginning of a new chapter. And you basically created something special. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You know, everybody has a different story. Yeah. And you know, especially during hard times like that, if you allow yourself to understand and better yourself, something always great is going to happen. But if you don't allow it, and you know, it can also destroy you. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because there's been plenty of people that were destroyed.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the more older I get, the more I see people struggle with that. And the reality is, I'm still struggle with it, with myself, with a lot of things. You know, because sometimes we human, we're gonna question what next. Yeah. Question who we are. Question what we should do. What are we contributing to the world? You know, to our life. And I am like a very emotional person, and I love that person very much. And I'm not saying that I come 100% moving on from that, because I could not be moving on. Like, I'm still having that same feeling, and it's been 7 years, 8 years, and it sucks because somehow I feel like I'm still holding on to some memories. But that's who I am as a person. I don't, just because it doesn't work for me, I don't have to give up on those memories I have. You know, it's who we are.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to move on because I could not be able to find anybody that, you know, like matching with who I am, and I keep comparing with what I have in the past, and that's what I don't want to do.
Do you have, let's put some humor into this. Do you have certain standards?
I do.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not.
Well,
yes.
Let's talk about first. Let's talk about first date.
Okay.
Here's my standards over the. People are going to hate me for this. So during the after the 5 years of getting over it completely, my thought process during that time was, if I can do on the first date, get away with something I want to do on the first date, then she's a keeper. So, like, for example, I take her to food court Costco. Is that okay? you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, instead of being bougie the first date, I was like, I'm gonna go low tier the first date. If she can have a decent conversation with me.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that it became right. You know, she loved me for who I am. But my girlfriend, I didn't take her to Costco, but I wanted to, but I took her to somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, you know, do you have something like that, you know?
No, not really. I like that's the thing. Like, that's for me. I love the food, so I always want to go somewhere nice to eat.
Yeah.
But I've done that before with some people, because the first day sometimes can just be like get to know each other. So it doesn't have to be a dinner or lunch for me. It could just be simply coffee. You know, like let's just get coffee. You know, and see how it goes and where it goes. But my standard is like, I don't expecting a lot from that person, accepting the fact that he loved me who I am, and having, like, I want him to have everything for himself already. Like, I don't want him to be confusing, going to a relationship trying to figure out what he needs to do with his life. I mean, you know, like, I just still wanted something stable, because I work so hard to be independent. I want somebody like that, so we can grow together in certain perspective, like build a family, build a home, you know, like, that's what I want. I don't want to step backwards. Yeah. Because, you know, like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But again, love is not something that you plan on. It just happen, you know, and
that's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fact.
So even though, like, I have standard or feeling or whatsoever, I still, you know, like, struggle fighting. Then if that person come and it's happened, you know, like, so it's not about the whole, you know, idea of it. Yeah.
So how me and my girlfriend met was over pizza, pizza and ranch. So, you know, it just happened. Yeah. It just happened like that, and I always told myself, if it's going to happen, it's just going to happen. Yeah. You know, you can't stop it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm still very old school in the way of that dating things. On the first date, I was trying to fight to pay for the bills. But if I end up being the one who paid for it, it's kind of disappointed for me.
I wouldn't even care.
That's for me, like, you know, like, I still want a gentleman. I still want a man, you know, like, I'm not forcing him to be, like, you know, mean or anything, but at least, like, seeing his effort make me feel happy about it, you know, like, that's all I want. If I give my effort to you, I expecting back, you know? Yeah,
that's understandable. Yeah. So you've been to, like, a place like Steak 48? Mm-hmm. Love that place. You ever had the tomahawk there? Oh God, so good.
I'm gonna be honest with you. There's another place that's really good.
Tell me about it. I'm always open.
Have you been to BB Butcher?
Yes. Last year, before this whole COVID bullshit, we did the Houston Restaurant Week. Best burger ever.
I know, and the steak is so good too.
Is it?
I went to Steak 48. I like it, but
I love the scenery.
Now I want to come over and cook you a piece of steak.
Are you gonna cook me a steak?
I am like the meat eater. Like, I love meat. I love it sounds wrong, but I love eating like animal products. Like,
Okay.
like I cannot go vegetarian ever.
You're a carnivore,
Like,
yeah.
that's who I am. Like I love meat. So steak is why my number one on the list. Like that's American side of me. Like I'm so specific about my steak.
Yeah.
It's really hard. And everywhere I go, I will try the steak just because I want to see how it tastes like.
What do you mean by specific? Like the
taste, the flavor, the meat, how they cook it. Like it's a lot. Like when you put it in your mouth, it should feels like it should feel that feeling. Like oh my god, like that's what the steaks are for.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like when I went to Steak 48 for my birthday that 1 year, and I have that too, the tomahawk. It was good, but it's not like I had something better. Like that's what I have in my mind, you know, like I always comparing. And in Texas, we have Killian Steakhouse. I think it's in Pearland. It's like almost an hour drive.
Okay.
JJ Watt always go there, and that is the number one steakhouse. Oh my god, like it's so good. It's like everything they do is perfect.
Yeah.
Because that's all they do, like the steak. And I remember to get the table that was really hard, and like
hard as in like a month of advance booking or just walk in?
I wouldn't say a month. Like Texas, I mean we're still in Texas, not New York, you know. But like I would say like a week ahead or a couple of days ahead to make sure, because it's always packed.
Yeah.
And you can see like JJ Watt picture in there, like, and even the waitress like so proud, like oh he come here every other day to just get the steak. I'm like yeah, I understand why. I mean it's so good.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you BB Butcher because BB Butcher is closer to that place, and they have a really good steaks, and they are the only restaurant in Texas that have carrier license for Wagyu, for the Japanese Wagyu, the Kobe beef A5.
Oh yeah.
So you need a license for that.
I've always wanted to go back, but it was like last.
But it's restaurant weeks now. So,
but it's not the same though. Is it the same? You know.
But it's still. I had the steak there, and I'm like, I have to say it's good. It's like
yeah,
really
I'll definitely. It's been on my radar to go back because we only did a lunch, but dang, last year what we got for lunch was a lot, and I was like, man, this is so good. So I always wanted to go back.
Yeah.
But so far, Steak 48 is my home. You know, because I just love the tomahawks.
Yeah.
I think I forgot. Every birthday I take someone there, and they always enjoyed it. But I know a spot. Well, I know someone who can cook a very good steak, and I think you'll like. Nancy's father cooks some bomb ass steaks.
Really?
He let it soak in this special sauce he has, and we always told him to pretty much put it in a canister and put it on shelves and start selling it because it's that damn good. Maybe when they do a next dinner with steak, I'll ask if I can invite you. They live in Sugar Land. How far are you away from Sugar Land?
I live in Midtown, so
far. So we can car hop. But he cooks really good steak. I
really want to try this.
Oh, and I mean he's Vietnamese, so you know.
Oh, and that too. And okay, this is random. Well, we talk about fancy luxury steak, right? Now talk about the lower end of it.
Like ribs?
No, like a steel steak. Well, but have you had like the steak night before?
Steak knives?
Steak night.
Oh, steak night? Yeah, that's at his place.
Okay, so steak night recently become a thing in Houston right before COVID. It's like you follow one food truck that cooks steak, and then every Monday they go to a different bar and they sell it outside.
Oh, you're talking about that? Okay, yeah.
And this truck that I follow, it's so good, and it's not crazy expensive. It's something that when you crave for steak, you go there and you just eat that steak, and you're like, wow, what did I just eat? This tastes like a luxury restaurant.
Is it like an actual steak or is it?
It's actual steak.
Really?
It's really good. I'm gonna send you the name. I forgot about it now.
Yeah.
That you should follow, and they have steak night now still. Like I think from Monday to Thursday, the same location. But they only take cash. So you go there. It's about like $20 a piece of steak, and you can get the sauce, like the special sauce and everything. Oh my god, it's so good.
I'm curious.
It's really good.
Okay.
That's the thing about me. Like I'm like, oh, food truck steak, meh. And I eat it. I'm like, I keep coming back and like, Nicholas, you're back again. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, the quality of food truck is definitely going up. That's one thing because man, especially if you don't have a lot of money to open up a storefront, food truck's the way to go. And because I think Austin is known for that too, right?
Yeah, Austin started it.
Yeah, for the food truck.
Yeah.
But when you go to Austin, it's like a food truck on every freaking corner and stuff. But I definitely want to try it now. You're making me hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Yeah.
So it's happened at like the local bars or like things like that. So you order drink from the bar, but order steak from the truck.
That's the best spot.
Yeah.
And,
so it's really nice. I enjoy it.
Man,
very
I
much.
wish this year COVID wasn't happening. I miss Maine. God, I had good times on Maine.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so man, you're making me hungry now. So, all right. So, let's see what else. So basically, your last lineup of your clothing styles. What was the idea behind that one?
The latest collection I had was it's like I get back to nature. Like it's really fun. It's simply black and white with like add the color. Think about like a canvas and you throw a bunch of colors on it. Because I feel like I'm more confident with who I am. And I'm like a cocoon that's coming out of the shell and become a butterfly, which is also, I have two dresses that when they walk together, it become like a one big butterfly. Oh. It's like an idea of it. And then I have like a dress that looks like a leaf, like I'm trying to bring nature in it too, you know, like a appreciation of the world we're living in. And you know, definitely like more colorful, more joyful, and just fun.
Yeah. So when did you started wearing a dress?
Well, it started out by dressing up, going to the gay bars and stuff.
Okay.
And then I wasn't really confident about it or comfortable with it until I do fashions. I would say the third year of doing fashion is when my confidence level is like really raised up because I know what I achieve. I appreciate what I do. And a part of it make me confident because, you know, like I know who I am, you know, and that's the part people are afraid, and people that are not confident is because they normally insecure about who they are and all that stuff. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm still insecure in certain part of who I am, but I am confident at what I do or what I success, and it's become a brand because people remember me. When people meet me once, they remember who I am, and that's a good part about branding because give them a card that will follow you, follow me, get to know me, like who I am and all that stuff. And that's been working out so far. So it's not just about me being myself, it's also like a business tactic, you know, like strategy to help me grow. Yeah. Okay. And then going to the restaurant, dressing up like that, people will definitely remember, and you can get away with a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, that's you know, when you say it like that, that's what I like about Steak 48. Did you know that going back on there? Did you know that's a hot spot for sugar daddies right there? I didn't know that until so I wasn't aware of it until because we never really sat next to the bar area. But when I took my girlfriend's parents out for her mom's birthday dinner, we was near the bar area, and I was looking at her, I was like, oh my god, because she told me at that time, and I was like, I didn't believe it until I got there, and it was like Oasis everywhere. There's a lot of people. I was like, man, do people really dress up like this to get here? And then all they're doing is sitting at the bar and stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. And so that's
that whole area of River Oak District is like a high class.
It's not that high class.
Well, I'm saying high class.
Sugar daddies and stuff. Yeah,
I try to go with like a different word, but
yeah,
it is like, you know, with all the bars and restaurant there, it's just basically just like a hot spot for like just pick up something, you know, like real quick, a hookup, and then just with money involved, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I'm always walking over there homeless, so you know, because I think I live near the West HOU area, and I love the West HOU area. It's more homey, feels homey, doesn't feel like a bar area. But I drive my mountain bike through that area, through the River Oaks district, and I'm always seeing fancy cars there, nice fancy cars, and I always get that look, like, why are you here? Yeah, you know, so that's cool. So during this whole trend, your passion into fashion, being from Vietnam moving to Houston, how was the process of getting your brand out? Was it difficult at all?
Yes, it's difficult because Houston, as you know, Houston, Texas, we don't have that big fashion industry here.
Yeah.
And people don't just follow you just because, like nowadays everything is like strategy. So I did some show in New York and things like that, which is the plan I'm doing for the next 5 year of my company, is reaching out to more international spot, because my biggest goal in life is still want to bring everything back to Houston, because this is my home now. Like I want to do something great for this, and seeing talented people leaving home to go to LA, New York to make the name for themselves, it's good for them. But it's sad that I seen that, because we could have those people here in Houston.
100% agree.
And then if we have the group of people who actually appreciate it and helping them to stay here to survive on what they're doing, then Houston could grow so big. And that's my biggest goal, is that become successful and bring it back to Houston somehow, that help the local designer, work with them, collaborate to bring them the idea.
Yeah.
So that's I know it's very ambitious of me. It's very like huge goals and plan. But when I start Mysterious, that's the first thing that come through my head. Mysterious by NPN is by me. So the idea of that is, if I make that, if I design that, it's going to be my name.
Yeah.
But if somebody doing it, collaboration, is going to be Mysterious by whoever name that is, So that was the idea behind why I call Mysterious.
Yeah. I love your sweater, by the way. The black and gold one. Oh, that's a sweet sweater. I might pick one up soon. Just waiting for it to get cold.
Thank you. Yeah, I still have some of them left.
Yeah, I might pick one up pretty soon.
Okay.
I love it. I need some sweaters. So, okay, that's cool. So, you don't ever plan on moving out to Houston, out from Houston?
I really don't want to move out from here, but you never know.
Yeah.
It's life, and deep part of me, I somehow connected more European culture more, maybe because that's how Vietnam was. I always want to move to Europe at some point, to just maybe stay there for like a couple of years to learn the new language, learn new skills. So which is why I never go to school for fashions. And I look into applying for some fashion school in Paris or in, Milan, just because, like, why not?
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends live in Europe, because, so a little background, Vietnam is like Vietnam kind of influenced by French a lot. So that's why our language is alphabet. It's like, regular alphabet is the French bring it in. And our food is like very Western combined with China. Like it's two culture clash and create Vietnamese. And so maybe because of that, like growing up, I studied French throughout my elementary school. So
do you still remember some of it?
No, I try to pick it back up. Back up. Like I understand this conversation. If you say something, I get it, but I cannot say it back.
Yeah.
So I'm still learning that again. So which is why I want to go back to France for that reason. Mm-hmm. Like study the skill, study the new degree and the language. Like to just see how it feels. And most of my friends who grow up like elementary school, I still keep in touch. They all over Europe. Because they didn't think US is a thing, like for them is they love Europe more, which now I'm in love, because I've seen them traveling to different country every day. I'm like, I hate you. Like, what the hell? Like you could just take a train from like to Paris to Milan to like, Italy to like Greece, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is amazing. You have all these amazing spots that you can go to.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck in Texas.
Texas is... You know what, man? Texas is the greatest state in the world. I love Texas.
Of land.
Yeah, that's a beauty thing about Europe. Having that capability. So this year I was able to get a passport for the first time ever.
What?
Yeah, I rarely ever leave Texas. You know what? I never seen blue water.
Oh my God.
So
you have to. Not too short.
So I was originally supposed to go to Canada this year for my girlfriend's sister.
It's still North America, but okay.
It's a step forward.
A step forward, yes. Small step.
Yeah, I always wanted Canada. Canada, looks really nice. Especially the Vancouver area.
Mm-hmm.
But COVID happened, so everything. But next year, I'm definitely looking to go out somewhere. I don't know where though, but yeah, somewhere with blue.
Well, that's the thing. Like, that's a good thing about American passport. It's so powerful. Like, you can go almost anywhere without any problems, and you'll be taken care of firsthand.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got that passport too. Like, it made me want to travel more. Like, keep going everywhere.
So where's next?
Greece.
Greece. Yeah.
Definitely, Mykonos is on my list.
Okay.
Like, I definitely want to travel.
Okay. Yeah, the idea of traveling is great, but for me, I'm such a Texan, I don't think I'll like Europe though, because everything's so like food wise, and the living is so much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I like big areas.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I would enjoy Europe too much.
Yes, Europe is very it's small. Everything is very low scale, but that's the thing about traveling. Since, like, I want to share a lot with my friend, I always tell my friend to travel more, because traveling, there's two type of travelers. One is always reaching out for luxury. They just want to go there, stay in fancy hotel, fancy area, and that's all they know. And there's a type of traveler is backpacker that travel and learn the country, learn the culture, learn why it is what it is. I am the combination of both. I like to do some nice thing just because, why not? And then a couple of times the reason why for me travel is learning about the culture, about the people, about why it is what it is, And it's opened your mind up a lot. It's sometimes you run into a situation that you might hate, but that's a memory that you're going to have the rest of your life. Because moment that you hate, moment that you struggle with is always like the one that you always laugh at it later on.
Yeah.
That's life, like sometimes good memories you don't remember as much as those bad memories.
Yeah.
And that's a part of it. And I traveled to South Africa last year of college. And I traveled before that. And the second I step out of that plane, I never feel anything like that ever before in my life. I told my friend, like, this feels like home for me. This is where South Africa.
Okay.
This is where I want to live. If I have to move again, this is where I want to live.
What part of Africa?
No, South Africa. Okay. South Africa is a country.
South Africa?
South Africa is a country.
Okay.
So South Africa is a country itself, like Kenya and all that stuff.
Yeah,
so it's a country. And I stay in Cape Town. It's a city of South Africa.
Okay.
So Cape Town is so beautiful.
Is it?
It incredibly beautiful. It's like the town is literally in a bow. The mountain is like up here, and the ocean's right there. So the whole city is in the middle of both, and they never once have any nature disasters. They're like ever. And then they have like you can go to the mountain with the cable, or you can just walk up there like a workout, and then you can go to the ocean. Like, everything is within less than 30 minutes of going. You can go to the ocean swimming like a summer, or go to a mountain having a cool chill like in the winter. Like, it's amazing.
Okay.
It's so beautiful. And the people is nice, and the food is amazing. Like, it just everything was perfect for me at that moment, and I was on my own. So for something that I feel like that it means a lot, because sometimes you need a lover or a companion that you really care about with you to make that memories remember. And that is just me realizing it for myself, which is making more sense to me,
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, travel more. You see what I'm, like, the world it's so much more to see than just America, like,
or
especially
Texas.
in Texas.
Yeah, I've never had the opportunity to travel, but definitely next year, if possible, I definitely would travel somewhere. I'm still trying to experience blue water. I mean, Galveston has somewhat at certain time blue water, but it's not like crystal clear blue water.
Well, your girlfriend's Vietnamese, right?
Yeah.
Go to Vietnam. That's beautiful.
Well, yeah, she had the luxury to travel. She's been everywhere. But for me, I mean, I didn't grow up wealthy or anything, you know. I mean, my vacation was Galveston. That was the only beachside or Crystal
Yeah.
Beach.
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that,
Yeah.
but sometimes like I've seen people come different background and they end up appreciate things so much more, you know, like because you work your ass off for what you have.
Yeah.
So of course, you know, like I get it, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I just never really taken it considered like to travel. I mean, it was never really on my radar. I'm always spending money on cameras, hobbies and stuff. I just never really considered traveling. But with her, she wants to travel, so hopefully next year we can do it more.
yeah.
You know,
Well, I think you're gonna love Vietnam. Blue waters, cheap,
Hope-
like everything is not crazy expensive like Europe.
Yeah.
It's affordable in like a very luxury way, you know,
Yeah.
like it's still very nice. And Vietnam is growing big time. Like now it's like a hot spot for like traveler.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
is, like,
I think I'll enjoy it.
and then have somebody speak a language.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna.
That's just perfect.
Yeah, I mean, because they definitely will tell I'm fucking America, you know. So it's just my character, you know. I love my country and stuff. So let's see, what else can we talk about? So in the whole, when you mentioned about like, you know, you wanted to make Houston as a staple in the fashion industry, you're not the only person I heard that from. Is it something that's being talked around in the community where you know, people want the Houston, because you know how Houston is very culture, like, you know, very diverse.
Yeah.
People from all sorts of the world come to Houston. So is there a conversation within the fashion community that people wanted to make it a powerhouse?
For me, that always been on my mind. That's something that I always been thinking about.
Okay.
Maybe people have the same mindset thinking about it, but for me, that's coming from me.
Okay.
I do talk to some people and I do meet some people, but it's just, I don't know, like, here's the thing, like, there's people who saying things to make sense. I'm like, you know, because what they want to have. And there's people who want to take actions.
Yeah.
And I want to work with people who want to take actions, because here's the thing about me, like, even when I don't make as much money in my whatever, like last year was bad, I still want to help, like reaching out. Like, let's say people want to borrow my stuff for photo shoot, I'm more than happy to. Like, I like to collaborate. I love to work with people who want to work with me. It's not just about money. Like, for me, it's not just about money. I don't need you to pay me to rent this stuff. You know, like, I want to work with you. And it's hard to find people like me as a mindset, because when I'm reaching out to people asking for help, they always asking for money. Like, that's the first thing off, which is fine. You know, like, if I'm paying for what I really get for professional work I have, I'm more than happy to. And I've done that sometime, you know, but that's what I meant. When people are struggling, we work as exchange, and then exchanging to help growing in a different direction, because you never know how you're going to get viral, because that's the key, you know? And when people shut down so quickly of collaborating because they just simply want money to survive, which I understand, it's kind of turned off a lot of opportunity, because there's people cannot afford to pay that, for example, but they still want to work with somebody great to help, you know, like to do whatever it is. Like, with fashion, it's not just about the clothing. It's hair, makeup, model, photographer. Like, you know, with a stylist, like a lot of work into it to make a statement, to make people remember.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'm like, I feel that people are still kind of confusing about that whole working together thing. Because as an artist, it's really hard, because we all have a different idea of what we want to do with vision, you know, different vision, different concept. But sometimes we just need to get that out of the way, like the differences out of the way, and collab and make it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing that, like,
Yeah.
every day, you know. And I shipping out my stuff to like local, whoever want to do a photo shoot, whatever. You know, I just want to help whatever I can.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to hear from other people too, you know, like
Yeah.
I want to help.
Yeah.
Sometimes we struggle with life, but don't let that, you know, determine of what you have to not to do, you know?
Yeah. So, because that was something I also wanted to do, you know, especially again when I got into or wanting to do fashion videos. I just wanted to create content for the designers because I felt like Houston can be a powerhouse. I mean, it makes it to me. It doesn't make sense that it's not, you know. But it's unfortunate that just the art area in here it just lacks behind, or it just hasn't gotten the exposure that it deserves. You know, what is Houston known for? Oil and gas and rappers. There's no fashion designers and stuff, but you know, luckily for us, it can change as long as the community's willing to be a powerhouse at it and you know just do something different. I've always had the idea of during Fashion Week was to pretty much pay all these photographers out of my own pocket and just create an event where it says we're gonna do a shit ton of fashion photos in downtown. We're gonna make it, you know, make certain spots a certain display and just take photos in there and just pretty much troll the hashtags of Fashion Week and see where it goes. That's always been an idea of mine.
Well, sometimes you just need a good team, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm still looking for, like a good team, same mindset, same pushing, you know, make it work.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a business, and everybody needs to make a living. But you know, like I've been working with some people that I'm not happy with before. Like that's normal, you know. Sometimes you're gonna run into those that like trying to take advantage or trying to just whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to become like a discouragement of doing things, because if you passion or you want to do something, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it for you, you know, like, and then you learn from it, you know.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of your highlight moments where it felt good. Let's share one of those experiences. You know, during a show.
Well, the feel good moment is actually recently at the show.
Okay.
Is I think the second time I walked down that runway in like dress and makeup.
Yeah.
The first time I was still kind of like conservative about it, and the second I walk out, people were just standing up and screaming, and you know, like it made me feel good about myself, not just my design, my fashion, my company, but about the person that I become. And the last show, when I walk out and like having like a huge party dance at the end of the show, it's like I turned it to like a runway into like a small mini club, you know, like just people just model dancing. It was so much fun, and I cannot forget about that. And I'm sure the models would not forget. Like people I work with, I want to make them happy too. You know, like I don't want to take advantage of anybody. Like I want what they put effort into, they will get back somehow. Memories, some credit, some effort. Like that's, I always try to be fair, like in the game. Like I don't, you know, I'm not that. I want to be fair to everybody. That's who I am. You know. Yeah, I want to be able to go sleep at night and feel good about myself. You know?
Yeah, that's cool. Was that thunder?
Yeah, I think the storm is coming in.
Oh, wow. Dang, it's like 2 days early. So, man, 2020 has been such a crazy year. You know, you got 2 hurricanes coming this way.
Yeah.
It's like, God, when are we going to get the light?
Yeah.
It's crazy, but we'll survive, man. Ever since Harvey, we're a strong city. We'll get over it and stuff. Okay, that's cool then.
Yeah, and then that's the talk about COVID and stuff. Like when things like this happen, you see community does come together.
Oh yeah,
and try the best way to help, and you know, like all of that stuff. That's the good part of it. You know.
Yeah.
Like in the dark, there's still some light and some people who actually trying to reach out to help.
Yeah.
And of course, it's always gonna be those looters, those want to take advantage. You know, like it's a world. Like the light always exists with the dark. Like that's
it's unfortunate that happens, you know, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, what can you do?
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
People just have to growing up and learn that for themselves.
Yeah.
And the more you try to force them to think a certain way, the more they think about it, like when you're a kid, your parents tell you to do one thing, you would be like,
No.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. And then when you make your own mistake, your own things, and you learn on your own, and you be like, oh, I appreciate that so much more. Yeah. Which is why that's 15 years by myself kind of like shaping me of who I am, you know?
Okay.
Like I become more, I think on my own, I think for myself, I'm a free thinker. Like there are a lot of things I disagree that I don't tell to people just because people would not understand where I'm coming from, you know, or how. That's the part about people is like they wouldn't when they hear something that not matching with what they have in mind, the first thing they do is react, like completely shut down, like they don't care anymore, don't want to hear about it, and that's the suck part of it is because I am a listener, like I want to hear where you're coming from, and if I disagree with it, and if you're willing to hear it, then I'll tell you. If not, I'll keep it to myself. I just know that my grandma always tell me. I love my grandma. Like she is my idol for life. Like she's like the strongest.
Yeah, I'm starting to love her too. You know?
Yeah, she's like the strongest woman I ever know. And one thing that she told me when I was a kid is that always live your life being a better person, a bigger person. And that's how even nowadays, every time I'm doing something, even in an argument, I try to find a way to be a bigger person. I don't want to be a petty one. If you're mad at me, I will reach out to you and try to figure out what to do or how to fix it. I'm not gonna be sitting here and like, trying to like, you don't call me, I don't call you back, you know, or like being, you know, like everything. Even let's say we get into a fight when we're drunk, I don't want to talk about it because I know I'm influenced. Like I'm drunk, I'm not want to say anything that I don't remember the next day. You know?
Are you an emotional drunk?
Yes. Yes, I would say emotional because I can be crazy. I could be, you know, like, but most of the time I'm just messy, like just drunk and pass out and go home, you know?
Oh, really?
I hate fighting. I hate argument. I hate disagreement, you know, but
Yeah.
it's a part of it.
I understand.
And sometimes just looking past it does not mean that you don't care. It's just that you have to find the right moment to say the right things because other than that, people don't listen to you. And that's how misunderstanding starting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at that moment, people only care about what they have in their mind. They're not going to listen to what you have to say or trying to understand it, you know? So when people start calming down and like trying to like open up, like, okay, this is how I feel. And they was like, oh, I got it now, you know? So it's just a part of growing up and being an adult. In a way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where you kind of have to be told or kind of get a glimpse of, you know, because there's some cases where people, they have none of that. You know, they were brought into this world from, you know, a shitty family, and it's none of their fault. You know, you can't control it. So it is a part of. Go ahead.
Sorry,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, and then that's something I want to mention real quick is that is the reason why like this year I focus on myself and I start doing a lot of charity work as well. Is because I believe that for me education is the key, and education. That's why the next generation, the kids, the children, is our future. And if all of them have the right mindset, the right education, the right support, we're gonna eventually growing out of it, of what we know, of what we thought we know, you know?
Yeah.
And they deserve that. And that's why I'm teaming up with Montrose Center for LGBTQ Youth Program. Right now, they raising money for causing Housing Our Future. So raising house for our future is that they try to build a platform, a place, a secure place for the LGBT youth that got rejected by their family and they have no place to go, and they offer the place to live, offer the education, the chance to success, you know, to move on from what they didn't have.
Yeah.
And I do believe that they deserve that just like any other kids. You know, being gay seem more open nowadays, but the fact is people still struggling with it a lot. You know, 40% of LGBTQ youth, 40% of homeless kids are LGBTQ identify. So that's almost 50% of those kids that's like simply just because they are gay and their family don't accept them, they're homeless. You know, it sucks.
Yeah, especially if it's a religious family, you know, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
You know, especially because I don't have a kid, but I do daydream about having a kid, and I just can't fathom abandon my child.
Yeah.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? It's like,
And then sometimes I don't understand that either. Like maybe because we know we grow in a different way and we know what we should do.
yeah,
And it's just sometimes I could not understand how can a parent do something like that. You know, like we have that argument. Like I have argument with parents all the time, but doing something like that would never be on the list in any way. You know, it's just hard, and seeing them struggling, it's hurt my feelings. So on that note, I want to use this as a platform too. It's like on that note, you can go on montrosecenter.org to either join my team or any team of your friend, or start your own team and raise money. Simply just, you know, joining the team, or you can make donations, or you can share the link, join my team, share the link, and reaching out to your friend, your people, because for every member of every team, we have a better chance to like get the word out.
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely.
so you have your own friend that I never know of that might be interested in like raising, you know, every dollar counts, and it would be really, you know, helpful for all these kids, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely a great platform to promote, because it's showing awareness. You know, people need to be aware about it, as well as people need to understand, like, you know, just being accepting, you know, someone goes a long way, because, you know, you don't know where they came from, you know, and just being negative and bashing them down, it serves no purpose. Serves no purpose in this world. So if people can just be more accepting and, you know, just learn to love more, we'll be in a better place and stuff like that. So you got to go somewhere?
No, I think I'm just checking my time because my assistant was like trying to get me to do something.
Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, we can cut it right now. It's been an hour and 30 minutes already. Time flies, you know. So, okay, so, well, let's go ahead and just, you know, end this podcast. So I really appreciate you coming today and sharing your story. You definitely blew it out the park. I'm like amazed by your journey, and especially how you became who you are. And it's like, I'm a fan. You know, I'm a fan from when I first saw you. I'm definitely a fan now. I'm definitely going to support you, especially anything you launch. You know, I'm gonna be there. Okay. You know, I'm gonna be that guy. You know, everybody wants that best friend. Yeah. So, if you have anything that you want to pretty much promote, go ahead.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. And today I just want to talk about my company and my charity work right now, which is I just talk about montrosecenter.org. Log in, sign in, join my team, or make a donation. You know, like anything helps right now. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Nicholas. And, you know, hopefully the next time we do the next podcast, we'll be in a better studio.
This is great.
I appreciate it, man. And hopefully you guys enjoy the podcast, and see you on the next one.
Thank you.